and is shared widely. And so I decided to apply to the state of North Carolina to have this marker erected. So I took that upon myself, and honestly, it's one of the things I'm most proud of, I think, that I've ever done. So I'm really excited about it. So that's why this old white guy is standing here talking to you about handicraft. All right. So I want to quote, actually, I'm quoting Dr. Henry Louis Gates, who was quoting Stephen Hawking. I saw a clip of Henry Louis Gates from the Today Show the other day, and he was quoting Stephen Hawking, who said, "It is the past who tells us who we are. Without it, we lose our identity." So I want to thank you all for coming to celebrate the past, celebrate the life and achievements of handicrafts. I want to thank Dr. Pekovich for finding the story of handicrafts through all those scraps of paper and all those clues and putting it together for us. And right now, I'd like to introduce to you the first African-American mayor of the city, the town of Murfreesboro, Dr. Jamal Vaughn. Please come forward. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone.
Morning.
Thank you for coming out. This is a wonderful occasion. As was just said, we need to know our past. We need to know the history. That way we can continue to move forward. Knowing that handicraft was right here in Murfreesboro, that's just something that's amazing. You never know as you're walking up and down the street the history that has come from here. People who have done great things. And for her to go on and be the first African-American author, and for us years later to find that out and come back here and be able to honor her, it's just a full circle event. So we thank each and every one of you for coming out. We thank the hard work that you have done in order to put this together.
Yes.
It's just a blessing. Everybody coming together to remember past, because if you don't know about your past, you never know where you're going. So we're all in it together, and thank you all.
Thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce Leslie Leonard. Leslie is the Research Historian Supervisor and Administrator of the North Carolina Highway Historical Marker Program, which is a division of the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. Leslie?
Hey, Leslie.
And she's been, by the way, amazing to work with. So.
Oh, thank you. I'll keep my remarks brief since it is so chilly out here. But I want you guys to understand the importance of getting a highway historical marker in your community. Getting a marker is not an easy task, is it now?
No.
It is a long process. The marker program has actually been around since 1935, and we've worked jointly with the DOT since then. We are one of the longest running programs like this in the country. Each application, and we get many every year, go in front of a committee of 10 professors. And those professors determine which topics hit the criteria of statewide significance, so not just local or regional. We're saying that handicraft's story is important to the state of North Carolina. Currently, we have 1,669 markers in the system. Every county has at least one. I like to think of these markers, because they're very brief, they're kind of like history tweets, but I think of them as exhibit labels on the landscape. So if you go across North Carolina, you'll see these markers, and all of them tell a fuller story of North Carolina. Some of the histories are good, some bad, some tragic, some heroic. Some of them are downright shameful. But it's important to tell these stories so that we can understand each other and we can understand our state better. Because the mayor is right. If you don't understand the history of a place, you really can't love and appreciate that place. And I hope that having this marker here will remember to honor handicrafts and the history of North Carolina. So thank you guys for having us.
Thank you, Leslie. Now I'd like to invite Greg Hekovich, the mayor, and Reverend Verna Stevens, who is on our town council, to come, and we will do the unveiling.
All right, I'm going to take a video of this.
Okay.
So I've got them, it's just Velcro on the side, so the ropes will kind of just break away, and if you guys are back,
Can you reach one of these first?
I don't think so.
Maybe just grab his arm.
I know, they're very tall.
There you go.
Okay, ready? One, 2, 3. There we go.
Wow.
Yay!
Yay! All right, thank you all very much. We're going to keep this brief because it is so cold out here. We've got another unveiling on Broad Street, the 600 block of Broad Street at 1:30. So go back to your cars, or you're welcome to go to the Murphy Center in the 200 block of Broad Street and warm up until then. So go warm up your hands, get warm, and we'll see you at 1:30 on Broad Street. All right, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Excellent, great. Okay, terrific. Nice to meet you. Oh, where's Greg? Is Greg here? Behind you.
Right behind you.
I just want to tell you a little bit about the African American Coalition. The African American Coalition, we collect, we document, and celebrate the history of African Americans and the history of northeastern North Carolina. We have programs such as history programs, our annual Juneteenth festival that we do, and our dedication marker. As we stated earlier, how hard it is to get dedication markers. This is actually our 5th marker since 2019, and I think that's working.
Yay!
If anybody that's interested in joining our coalition, please see one of our members. We'll take your name, we'll get your email. We're in the planning stages of our Juneteenth festival, which is this June 2026, and we look forward to having you guys. Thank you.
We're now going to unveil the history marker and read what the marker says. Hometown heritage, George Reynolds, 1856 to 1891. Native of Murfreesboro, attended Shaw University, 1876 through 1877. Black teacher, house painter, and in 1889 through 1891, postmaster. He lived here in Murfreesboro. William G. Pomeroy Foundation, 2025. And again, it's wonderful to know that so much heritage is here in Murfreesboro. So many Black African American people have paved the way and contributed so much to our society, and we're just blessed and honored to be able to honor them and to keep their memory alive. And as I always say, we're all in it together, and we thank everyone for coming out here just to be here. And again, as Councilman Futral said, it's now 5 markers that the African American History Coalition has put up here in Murfreesboro, and it tells the story of so much. We have Riverside, Georgia Pacific, as I've always known it as. You have one at the Riverside Ballpark for the baseball that was played there. You have the Ruffin Brothers marker, and 2 others, including this here. So they're doing a wonderful job, and we just pray that they can continue to keep their work going, and we can continue to tell the true story of Murfreesboro. Amen.
Thank you. Good, good. It's a wonderful day to be here in Murfreesboro. Thank you for braving the cold to come out, especially those of you who braved the cold to help us unveil the markers today. We had a nice brisk time out there. So my name is Al Parker. I'm born and raised here in Murfreesboro. I live in Raleigh now, but I'm a member of the Historic Murfreesboro Commission. I'm an active volunteer for the Murfreesboro Historical Association. I've been a supporter for the Hereford County African American Historical Coalition. So I feel like I've got at least one hand in each pot, and I'm very happy that all 3 organizations are our co-sponsors today. So let's give them a round of applause. So for those of you who were not here, why is this guy talking to me today? Well, the reason I'm talking is because I'm the person that applied to the state of North Carolina to get the marker erected for Hannah Crafts. When I first read the Bondswoman's narrative and learned of the work that Henry Louis Gates had done, I became inspired. And then I became even more inspired when I met Dr. Greg Heckmovich and read The Life and Times of Hannah Crafts. So I wanted to do what I could to help share her inspiring life, legacy, and her achievements. Really is very extraordinary what she was able to do. And Dr. Henry Louis Gates sends his regrets that he cannot be here today. I want to say that one of the biggest thrills about this whole thing is just getting to email back and forth with him, because I'm a big fan. He's a superhero in my eyes, so that's been a thrill for me. But he will be watching the video and is very interested to see what we do today here in Murfreesboro. So I'm so proud of the program that I have here to share with you today, because we have some of the most admirable and accomplished people that I know participating. So I want to thank everybody who's participating for being here. So we're going to start with a little bit of business. Did anybody lose a locket? Because if not, we'll auction it off to raise money for it. If you lost this, let me know. Oh, it's Debbie's. Okay, great. Debbie's the winner. Give her. All right.
Thank you.
All right, something was handed to me just a few minutes ago, actually, that I haven't even had a chance to read through yet. But I'm very excited to bring you greetings from Governor Josh Stein. The governor says, "Dear friends, congratulations on the dedication of the North Carolina Highway Historical Marker honoring Hannah Crafts, the author of the first known novel written in the United States by an African American and the only novel written by a formerly enslaved woman who escaped bondage. Ms. Crafts was a notable figure in the history of Hertford County, and I'm pleased to celebrate her commemoration. Ms. Crafts was born into slavery and lived on a Murfreesboro plantation until her escape in 1857. Her novel, The Bondswoman's Narrative, remains unattributed until 2002, when it was rediscovered and published by Dr. Henry Louis Gates, becoming an instant bestseller. Scholars estimate Ms. Crafts wrote her semi-autobiographical novel between 1853 and 1861. I want to thank Alton Parker, the Murfreesboro Historical Association, the Hertford County African American History Coalition, and the Historic Murfreesboro Commission, and everyone who contributed to the establishment of this marker. Your generosity and commitment have guaranteed Hannah Craft's story will continue to inspire and educate for generations to come. When we acknowledge our history, we build a better and brighter future rooted in our shared values of freedom, justice, and opportunity for all. I hope you all have a wonderful celebration, taking pride in your work to ensure that the stories and struggles of those who have come before us will not be forgotten. Sincerely, Josh Stein, Governor. Another drill. So we have quite a few folks who are going to speak to us today. I'm very excited about this. I first want to introduce the Honorable Yamal Vaughn, who is a native of Murfreesboro. He graduated from Hertford County High School in 2001. Upon graduation, he enlisted in the United States Air Force, where he was stationed at Hickam Air Force Base in Honolulu, Hawaii. While enlisted, he served on 2 deployments at El Udeid Air Base in Doha, Qatar, in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, Joint Task Force Horn of Africa. After serving his country, he came home to serve his community. He founded and started the Murfreesboro Raiders youth football team and the Raiderettes cheerleading squad. He also started the 252 Venom 7-on-7 travel football team. He serves on numerous boards in Murfreesboro and Hertford County. He's a member of the of Murfreesboro's Recreation Department and serves on the Hertford County Recreation Board. He's the head football coach of the Hertford County Middle School Football Bears, and he's assistant coach on the track team at Hertford County Middle School. He's also an assistant coach for basketball at Hertford County High School. He's the owner of Vaughn's Pest Control, based in Murfreesboro, and on November the 4th, 2025, he was elected the first African-American mayor of Murfreesboro. Please welcome Mayor Vaughn.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, we want to thank you all for coming out. We want to welcome you to the beautiful town of Murfreesboro, where we believe that we are all one here together. We know that February is Black History Month, and it's amazing that we were able to get these markers put up today to honor Hannah Craft and also George Reynolds. You know, as I was listening to some of what Mr. Parker was saying about Hannah Craft, you think of how remarkable of a person she had to be. First of all, to be a slave and to actually learn to read and write, that means that somebody who owned her really actually took a liking to her to teach her to be able to read. Unless she did it on her own, but most likely in those days, someone in the house would teach you how to read. So for her to learn how to read and write, that was amazing in its own. And then in order to escape, you can only imagine how difficult that had to be. We don't know if it was on the Underground Railroad. We don't know if it was through the Great Dismal Swamp or wherever it was where she escaped to freedom in the North. and then to actually be able to write a novel. She had to be a remarkable person. George Reynolds as well. He had numerous accolades, but it's not about the accolades. We also saw that he was a school teacher, and in order to be a teacher, you usually have to have the art to serve. So we're thankful to honor these people, the strides that they made, which helps us be where we are today. And we're thankful that everybody came out, and we just want to remember that those people laid the ground so that we all can have the rights that we call inalienable, which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So again, welcome to Murfreesboro, and thank you.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Verna Lawrence Stevens. She is the youngest of two older sisters born to Cyrus and Reva Lawrence. She was educated in the Hereford County public school systems and graduated from C.S. Brown High School. Afterwards, she attended North Carolina A&T University and graduated from Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. She's retired from a career as a senior program analyst with the Social Security Administration in Maryland. She's the assistant pastor and Sunday school teacher at Jordan Grove Baptist Church in Winton. She served 8 years on the Murfreesboro Town Council and was re-elected for another 8-year term last November. She's a member of the Historic Murfreesboro Commission, president of the C.S. Brown Regional Museum and Cultural Arts Center, and is a member of the Hereford County African American History Coalition and a past president of the Women's Auxiliary of the West Roanoke Baptist Association. She's married to William Stevens, and they have 2 adult daughters, 3 granddaughters, and a great-granddaughter. I'm also proud to introduce her as my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Verna Stevens.
Good afternoon. I am excited about being here this afternoon, and I was just as excited this morning when we dedicated the markers for Hannah Craft and for George Reynolds. This is an exciting day, and the weather turned out to be beautiful. It's sort of cold, but we can always wrap up to stay warm.
It beats the ice from last week, right?
Yes, it beats last week. I was doing a little research to find out more about Black History Month. I remember Black History when I was a little girl. We used to do it for 1 week. It went from 1 week, 1 day, then to a week. Now we have it for a full month. And I'm happy that here in Murfreesboro is something going on for Black history almost all of February. It's like I can hardly keep up. I can always find something to do Black History Month. And I'm honored to be here today to share this celebration, the unveiling of the markers for Hannah Craft and George Reynolds on this Black History Day. And when I checked back, I didn't realize Black history has been celebrated for 100 years this year. It was started in 1926, and today is February 2026. So we have been celebrating Black history for 100 years. And how many things do we start, and before long it falls along the wayside? But this has been maintained, and like I said, I'm excited to be here in Murfreesboro. And it's so much Black history in Murfreesboro. Yes. Hannah Craft, George Reynolds. So we have a lot to celebrate, and it's great sharing this day with all of you. Thank you for coming out. Let us pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Dear God, we humbly bow before you this afternoon just to worship and praise your holy name. For dear God, you are worthy to be praised. We thank you for this celebration, the the right to celebrate Black history. For it took us many, many years to come this far. And without you, dear God, we would not have been able to make it. So we thank you for everything. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for food and shelter. We thank you for warmth, for keeping us warm today, to giving us the clothes, bright clothes to wear in this kind of weather. We ask, dear God, that you go along with us, continue to give us the strength, the courage, the wisdom, and the knowledge to do all of the things that you would have us to do. These and all other blessings I ask in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen.
Thank you, Reverend Stevens. I would like to introduce Councilman James Futrell, who is representing the members of the Hertford County African American History Coalition today. Mr. Futrell was sworn as a member of the Murfreesboro Town Council on January 20th, 2026. He previously served on the Town Council from 2022 to 2024, and he works for the Department of Public Safety. Please welcome Councilman James Futrell.
Good afternoon again, everybody. And on behalf of the Hertford County Coalition, I want to thank everybody for coming. I know you guys traveled near and far, and to see so many faces here, I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be a part of this coalition, to not only that we collect and document, but take moments to celebrate the rich history here on the northeastern side of North Carolina. And it makes me proud to be right here from the city of Murfreesboro. So thank you guys for coming. If you need anything, for people that are not familiar with the building, our bathrooms are to my left, your right. If you need anything, or if you need any refreshments, please see a member of the coalition. We'll be glad to help. Thank you.
I next want to introduce James Elliott Moore, who was born in Ahoskie in 1954 and grew up on the nearby family farm at Maple Lawn. He attended Chowan College, where he achieved the Associates of Arts degree in 1974. From there, he went on to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where he was awarded the Bachelor of Arts in History in 1976 and Master of Science in Library Science in 1977. After working in public libraries for 4 years, he entered the civil service as an Army librarian intern at Fort Monroe, Virginia in 1981. During a career stretching over 39 years, he worked in libraries in Virginia, Kentucky, Alabama, North Carolina, Italy, and Belgium. Jimmy's a life member of the Murfreesboro Historical Association. He endowed the John Wheeler House there in 2016. Since 2022, he's been the president of the Murfreesboro Historical Association. He is a longtime member of the Historic Murfreesboro Commission, appointed by the governor of North Carolina. He was appointed to the Board of Visitors for Chowan University in 2011 and was deeply involved in their 175th anniversary celebration. Jimmy moved back to Murfreesboro in 2021 after retiring from government work. While he says his ultimate goal is to retire in a villa in Tuscany with an unlimited supply of books and gin, he finds life in Murfreesboro to be a close second. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jimmy Moore.
Thank you, Alan. In 2000, when I returned to the United States after living overseas for 12 years, no one had ever heard of Hannah Crafts. That was all about to change. On February 15, 2001, prominent scholar and academic Dr. Henry Louis Gates purchased the manuscript of the Bondwoman's Narrative at an auction in New York City. After extensive research and testing, the work was published in 2002. It made the New York Times bestseller list. Dr. Gates declared that the author was the first African-American female novelist in the United States. The story of the woman behind this book fired the imagination of Dr. Greg Hekimovich, then a professor at East Carolina University. His research carried him on a journey for the next 20 years. The result was the life and times of Hannah Crafts, the true story of the bondwoman's narrative. His promotion of the book brought national attention to Murfreesboro when CBS Saturday Morning came to our town to interview him in the Wheeler House. This in turn caught the attention of Murfreesboro native Al Parker, and he embarked on a crusade to obtain a state highway historical marker for Hannah Crafts. The job was not easy, but Al persevered, and today's marker is a testament to his dedication. Meanwhile, Caroline Stevenson and the Hertford County African American History Coalition have worked steadily to preserve local history by placing historical markers in the community. Their latest achievement is the marker for George Reynolds, Murfreesboro's first African American postmaster, placed beside his home on Broad Street. It is my pleasure as the president of the Murfreesboro Historical Association to partner today with the Historic Murfreesboro Commission and the Hertford County African American History Coalition to recognize Hannah Crafts and George Reynolds. These are stories that need to be told, and together we are the ones to tell them. Thank you to everyone for coming out today for this event.
It's my pleasure to introduce to you today Debbie Redding Hill, who grew up in Newport News, Virginia, and was a graduate of Chowan College. She married T.W. Hill, and they made Murfreesboro their home for many years. She has 2 children and 4 grandchildren. Her career was director of human resources for 10 years at Roanoke Chowan Hospital and 10 years at WCI Management Group in Myrtle Beach. Since moving back to Murfreesboro, she's very active in the Murfreesboro Baptist Church. At Chowan, she served on the Alumni Council and the Board of Visitors. Also in the community, she served as site manager, board of directors, and past president of the Murfreesboro Historical Association. She is now, I'm glad to say, the chairman of the Historic Murfreesboro Commission. Please welcome Debbie Hill.
Hey y'all, I just wanted to say what a privilege it is to be here in the company of the authors, the state people, the community, and what our community has done in the past for the history and what they're doing today. We've got a future here. We have got homegrown people like Hannah Crafts and George Reynolds who made a difference. And you and I together, we can make a difference here in Murfreesboro. Now Hannah was an amazing thing. I was on the commission when Al Parker came to the board and said that he wanted to do this marker, and he was so excited. If you know Al, you know how excited he gets. He gets excited. Anyway, so that brought the excitement to the commission. And those of you who don't know the difference between the Murfreesboro Historical Association and the commission, the Historical Association started all the historical homes. Got it all together, got all the monies for years and years. It was back in 1970, I believe, that it started. And then the governor, they've come up with this commission, and the commissioners are appointed by the governor. And we're proud that South Moore is here. He is the deputy general counsel to the governor. And we're here, happy to have Bill Ward here. And each of us can make a big difference. Now, Hannah Crafts, she was an enslaved bondservant for the Wheelers and the Wheeler Plantation, which is right down the street. And I believe that what I read, she probably learned to read by helping the children. I think they had 17 children at the Wheeler House at one time. I was site manager of the Wheeler House for a little bit over a year, and that was an exciting thing. And then when I read this book, it was more exciting because I knew where everything was that she was talking about in her book. So that was exciting. And exciting to know that George Reynolds came from here, Murfreesboro. And I married a native Murfreesboroite. And it's a privilege to be back here. I moved back here about 8 years ago, and I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud to serve the Historical Association as a member of them and as the commissioner. Thank you very much.
Lift Every Voice and Sing is the iconic opening line of what is called the Black National Anthem. It's a powerful poem written by James Weldon Johnson in 1900 that became a rallying cry for the civil rights movement, celebrating Black heritage, resilience, and hope for liberty. It's a call to uplift spirits with songs of faith and freedom, resonating deeply in African American culture and beyond. Written from the context of African Americans in the late 19th century, the hymn is a prayer of thanksgiving to God, as well as a prayer for faithfulness and freedom, with imagery that evokes the biblical exodus from slavery to the freedom of the Promised Land. James Weldon Johnson, principal of the Edwin M. Stanton School in Jacksonville, Florida, had sought to write a poem in commemoration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. However, amid the ongoing civil rights movement, he decided to write a poem which was themed around the struggles of African Americans following Reconstruction and the passage of Jim Crow laws in the South. Lift Every Voice and Sing was first recited by 500 students in 1900. His brother, J. Rosamond Johnson, would later set his poem to music. It was communally sung within the Black American communities, while the NAACP began to promote the hymn as the, quote, Negro National Anthem in 1917, and the term Black National Anthem is similarly used in the present day. It has been featured in 49 different Christian hymnals. I would like to introduce Brandon Vaughn. Brandon is a Murfreesboro native and graduate of Hereford County High School. He has a bachelor's degree from North Carolina A&T University in musical education. While at North Carolina A&T, he became a member of the world-renowned Cold Steel Drum Line, the A&T Jazz Ensemble and Concert Band. For 3 consecutive years, Brandon was selected as first-chair tenor saxophonist for the HBCU Band Directors Consortium, 2 years in the HBCU All-Star Band, and 1 in the HBCU All-Star Wind Ensemble. He is the recipient of the Semper Fidelis Award of Music by the United States Marine Corps. Brandon performs a solo act called Serenading and Saxy, and also performs with various bands, including his own. He will lead us in singing Lift Every Voice and Sing, and the lyrics are on the back of your program.
Y'all stay at seats.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun, now our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, built in the days that hope unborn had died, yet with the steady beat have not our wings the tears that has watered. We have come, treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last. What the one wing of Christ's arm is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us from far on the way, thou who hast by thy mind lead us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we get thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Thank you. Let me see.
We have quite a few people who have traveled from out of town to this event, and I want to introduce a few of them and ask them to stand if you would, please. First, we have South Moore. South is from the Governor's General Council, and he is also on the Historic Murfreesboro Commission. We also have Representative Bill Ward here today. Please stand. Thank you for coming. We have Briasha Buggs, who is here from Congressman Don Davis's office. We have Dr. Benjamin Speller, former archivist and longtime preservationist, and the first North Carolina Central Land Library Science.
Says that we have democracy in people who are first cousins and more of Amtrak.
That's wonderful. Great. I also want to introduce Earl Imes. Earl is the curator of African American agriculture and community history at the North Carolina Museum of History. Prior to joining the museum, he was a reference archivist with the North Carolina Office of Archives and History for 8 years and photograph archivist from 1994 to 2000. And he will also be speaking at the Black History Month lecture on Friday, February the 27th of 2026 at Historic Hope Plantation in Bertie County. So make sure you check that out.
We've also got Chairman Lassiter, Hereford County Commission.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I didn't get a chance to meet you yet. Thank you. Thank you, dear. Also, we have Dr. Jason Miller, a distinguished professor and public scholar whose work has been featured on ABC and NBC Evening News, CNN, BBC, NPR, and The Rachel Maddow Show. His research on Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, which was first shared in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, is the subject of a documentary film called Origin of the Dream, and it will be broadcast on PBS very soon. So Dr. Miller, please. Welcome. Now it is my pleasure to introduce one of the most dynamic people that I know, Rosemary Thomas, Dr. Rosemary Thomas. She's the 24th president of Chowanna University, and on a day when we celebrate significant firsts, I want to call out she's the first female president in the history of Chowanna. Previously, she was executive vice president at Davis and Elkins College. Dr. Thomas is from Fairmount, West Virginia. She earned a BA in Political Science and Communications from Clemson University in 1990. She completed a master's in Public Administration from the University of South Carolina. She earned her doctorate in Educational Leadership at West West Virginia University and has completed postdoctoral work at Harvard. Please welcome Dr. Rosemary Thomas.
Well, good afternoon. I stand before you with great humility and also gratitude for being able to be a part of something as special as this. And as I heard everyone come before me and take all the words that I plan to share, I thought about the day and what it brought us. And I want to think symbolically, if we could, about all of us standing outside with layers upon layers upon layers to try to protect ourselves from the elements. Think of the layers that Dr. Hekimovich and Dr. Gates had to dig through to find not only a voice, but a truth that had been silenced, that had been buried, that had been covered for safety, perhaps never to have been heard were it not for the courage of these gentlemen. As Al read a bit about me and where I've come from, indeed, I am the first female president here at Chowan University. Somewhat ironic, a school founded for women 178 years ago, and it took me 176 years to find me. I'm also the first non-Baptist, which also speaks to the institution that has broadened beyond its Southern Baptist roots to be a Christian institution that is grounded in faith, family, and the future. I'm also the first, if you will, and no, I did not bring the snow with me from West Virginia, but based on my lineage and my home being in West Virginia, I am the first Yankee that has served this institution. And yes, it is true, we are not near Richmond, nor are we near Virginia Beach. It's a state all in and of itself, which started in 1863 because of the layers that it was not willing to tolerate. I come here to this institution and a part of this community to say thank you and to applaud the great work of Al and the others who made it possible for these monuments, these markers, to be placed in the visible sight of not only those who walk this way today, but for future and for generations yet to come. As we say at Chowan, when we talk about faith, family, and the future, there is an order to that. Because our God Almighty, in whom we give our trust, our beliefs, and all of our hearts, must come first so that we can have faith to move forward. And the family that we talk about is so aptly described by so many in this room as people related to one another. But dare I say, we provide an institution that allows people to create a family from within that campus. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, it is only if we get the first two right that the last one will happen. We must know our history. We must know from where we come. Our faith and our family will lead to that future. We're grateful for historians and for the work that they do. We are grateful for the public servants who have stood before you today with great pride and also humility. And I thank you for coming out, for putting those layers on so that we could pull some of those layers off to see what it is that we could have missed. God bless you all.
I would like to introduce Leslie Leonard. Leslie Leonard serves as administrator for the North Carolina Highway Historical Marker Program. She has been part of the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources since 2017, beginning her career as assistant site manager at the Charlotte Hawkins Brown State Historic Site in Sedalia, North Carolina. Leslie later worked as curator of education at the Museum of the Cape Fear in Fayetteville, where she led exhibit updates, developed inclusive programming and events, and contributed to planning for the NC History Center scheduled to open in Fayetteville in 2027. She's an active leader in the museum community, serving on the board of the North Carolina Museums Council as awards chair and participating in both the professional development and advocacy committees. A Greensboro native, Leslie holds a BA in history from Guilford College and an MA in history and museum studies from UNC Greensboro. Please welcome Leslie Leonard.
unveiled the Hannah Crafts marker are going to hear a couple of things twice. But I want to make sure you guys really understand the importance of getting a highway historical marker. The marker program has been around since 1935, operating jointly with the Department of Transportation, and always has. There are currently 1,669 markers across the state. Each county has at least one. It is a lot of markers for one person to keep up with. But getting a highway historical marker is not an easy task. I was telling Al earlier, maybe about 35 to 40% of the applications that come across my desk are actually approved for highway historical markers. The state receives many applications. We have a committee of 10 professors who teach at North Carolina colleges and universities who determine only 2 times per year which of those applications reach the criteria of statewide significance and which applications receive markers. It is a very high bar to pass. I just also want to share with you guys the cycle that Hannah Crafts came across our committee. I was super excited to get the application. I had met with Al earlier, and he even invited me up to Murfreesboro in October of 2024, and I came up and visited and did a Halloween tour with the library, which was a lot of fun. But I was a little concerned because as applications started coming in, not only did I have Hannah Crafts on my desk, I got an application from Moses Grandy, somebody who had written a slave narrative. And then I got an application for Moses Roper, a gentleman who had written a slave narrative. So I was really worried that going to the committee, having 3 applications that kind of echoed each other, that the committee would measure them against one another rather than measuring them on their own standing. So we just kind of separated it out in the agenda a little bit so that the conversation would come up in 3 different times in the meeting. And thankfully, they ended up approving all 3. Moses Grandy went up in September. Last year was here, it is September 2025. It was very hot. Today we dedicated Hannah Crafts, and at the end of the month I'll be in Caswell County dedicating that Moses Roper marker. So it's really exciting to see the committee measure each application based on its own merit. And I also want to comment, being here in Murfreesboro, the local community organizations that are putting up these additional markers that mark local history as opposed to these statewide significant markers. Hertford County and Murfreesboro specifically, you guys are really great examples of what it looks like for a community to come together, determine what local history you want to mark, and get those things accomplished. The state invests in these highway historical markers to put them up across communities in the state, but you guys are investing in yourselves and your local communities to get other markers up that tell a fuller story of your community here. And you guys should really be commended for that. And I'm happy to tell the other 99 counties across the state that you guys are a fantastic example of the work that can be done when people come together and open a dialogue with each other to move those kinds of things forward. So congratulations, everybody.
Now we're going to shift our focus a little bit off of Hannah Crafts and start focusing a little bit on George Reynolds. We haven't talked enough about him yet, so we're going to do that right now. So it is my pleasure to introduce Caroline Stevenson. She's a native and resident of Hertford County. She's a filmmaker and has been a member of the Directors Guild of America since 2001. She founded the local nonprofit Cultivator in 2016. Caroline, as most of you are aware, does a tremendous amount of volunteer work in many capacities in our community. Her interests in history, storytelling, and social justice are apples that did not fall very far from the tree. She's the daughter of Frank Stevenson, who was one of the primary guiding forces of early historical preservation and restoration here in Murfreesboro. It's my pleasure to acknowledge Frank here today. He's actually one of our many wonderful historians that we have. He's one of my local heroes. Frank, thank you so much for everything you've contributed to our community. So it is my pleasure to introduce my friend, Caroline Stevenson.
Okay, testing. It's an honor to share share with you the information, the history of the extraordinary George W. Reynolds. So, in all my spare time, I love to do research on women, on African Americans. This is very important and special to me. And I kept coming across George W. Reynolds, newspaper articles, deeds, other references in books. And I was like, who is this incredible person? So here's a brief overview of the extraordinary George W. Reynolds, Murfreesboro, NC's first African American postmaster. So he was born, his parents were free people of color. They were named Benjamin and Mary Reynolds. They married, if you guys can't see them, feel free to move around. August 14th, 1845 in Nash County. So his mother Mary was a Jones. She was from Nash County. And his father Benjamin, it was thought that he was from Virginia. So Benjamin Reynolds, George's dad, bought 32 acres of land on the west side of Murfreesboro from John W. Southall on November 14th, 1846 for $129. So John W. Southall, just so you know, he was a very large landowner in Murfreesboro, and he was a very influential person here in the county. Okay, next slide. So George, in the 1860 census, he's listed as J.W. Reynolds. He was the second child of Benjamin and Mary, and he was born in Murfreesboro, again, around 1856. Okay? So in 1865, this is from the 1939 book, A Hoskie Era of Hertford County, written by Parker Brothers. In 1865, W.D. Newsom taught private school and also Sunday school in Murfreesboro. So W.D. Newsom was an African-American man who was elected to the legislature later during the Reconstruction time, but in 1865 he taught school here in Murfreesboro. This is a quote: "The whip was often applied in Sunday school to make the pupils learn and behave. Some of the first pupils in this private school were," there's a list of names, so George Reynolds. So as a young man, he was educated here in Murfreesboro in a private African-American school. So this schoolhouse, we think, was located right behind Mount Sinai Church of God on the west side of town. Okay, next slide. So at the age of 12, George wrote to the Freedmen's Bureau. So many people don't know that Murfreesboro had a Freedmen's Bureau office after the Civil War. It's very not a well-known fact, and that will be the African American History Coalition's next marker to the Freedmen's Bureau. We know who owned the building, we know how much they paid for rent for that building, and we know who the Freedmen's Bureau agent was, but we don't know where it was yet. So that's next year. So at the age of 12, George wrote to the Freedmen's Bureau office asking for them to have his former teacher, a woman named Lydia Warwick of Raleigh, be appointed again to teach here. So there was a gap in terms of the continuity of schooling. Okay? So this is Lydia Warwick, his former teacher. Beautiful woman. So this is a clip from a newspaper in 1869 of a commencement at the school. So the school did eventually get back going again. And George gave a beautiful address that was an effort worthy of a lad of older years. So he was extraordinary. Okay, keep going. So in 1870, here is George in the census. He's 14. He has a sister who's 12, another sister who's 10, and his younger brother Walter is 7. Okay. So in 1876 and 77, George attended Shaw in the scientific department. Several of his siblings attended Shaw as well. So many African Americans from Murfreesboro attended Shaw during this time. So he wasn't the only one. Okay. In the 1880 census, he's listed here again with 1880 census. He's listed with his parents. He's 24. Both his dad and himself are listed as house painters as their profession. Okay. And in 1888, George obtains a marriage license to wed a woman named Clara Green of Washington, D.C. We don't know how they met, but we know that they were married in D.C. in 1888. Okay. Then in September of that year, in 1888, George purchased 616 East Broad Street from A.P. and Fannie Hines for $300. So A.P. Hines was a big carriage maker in Murfreesboro during that time. Okay? So in 1889, George was appointed the postmaster of Murfreesboro. So I'm going to read this. George W. Reynolds, colored, has been appointed postmaster at this place. He is a school teacher and a house painter. He will take charge of the office as soon as his bond, $10,000, can be arranged, which we suppose can be done. So this is from the Murfreesboro Index of 1889. We object to the appointment of a colored man to fill a position where 9/10 of the business is for white people. Yet, if we are to have a colored one, we prefer the appointment of prefer the appointment to anyone we know. So there's a whole lot in that, a whole lot. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that. However, you know that he was extraordinary because he was appointed at all. So, okay, next slide. In 1891, George passed away at the age of 35 of typhoid fever. He died at 616 East Broad Street. His burial place is unknown. So again, this is from the Murfreesboro Index in 1891. George W. Reynolds, colored, died at his home here on Wednesday of typhoid fever. George was a model colored man and was respected by both white and colored. Excuse the language, this is obviously a primary source. He was an excellent house painter, and his work always gave satisfaction. He possessed a fair education and spent some time teaching. So that was in the paper after he died. There would not be another African-American postmaster in Murfreesboro for over 100 years. Okay? So there are no known photos of George Reynolds. However, his widow Clara went back to Washington, D.C. after his death. She graduated from Howard with a degree in music education. She remarried in 1894, so like 3 years after George died. She lived a very long life. She died in Florida in 1964 at the age of 94. And I corresponded over Ancestry with one of her grandsons, and he said that Clara, his grandmother, would talk about George and Walter. So George had a brother named Walter. So even in her older years, she didn't forget about them. Okay? So the Reynolds Myrick House, where we were earlier, it's located at 616 East Broad Street. It was built circa 1855 by Samuel Powell, who was a coachmaker in Murfreesboro, so he was kind of in cahoots with A.P. Hines. In 2024, it was donated to the cultivator, and it's in the process of being restored. The goal is to open it as a community and educational space in June of 2026. Okay? We'd like to thank the William G. Pomeroy Foundation for funding the George Reynolds marker that stands in the front yard of his former home. We're, of course, accepting donations for this preservation effort. If you want to pitch in, we'd really love it. And also, copies of this presentation will be gladly emailed upon request. Okay? Please join us next Saturday, February 14th, at the opening of our America 250 NC exhibit, The Revolutionary Women of Hereford County. That's in Ahoskie at our Freedom Players Youth Theater building. It will be open in Ahoskie from February 14th to July 31st, free and open to the public. Okay. Our youth theater group is also presenting To Kill a Mockingbird in March at Ahoskie Elementary. We'd love to have you come support all of our programs, please. Okay. And then, please save the date for the 6th Annual Murfreesboro Juneteenth Freedom Festival. It will be Saturday, June 20th. Stay tuned for more info. And thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce Jacqueline Ruffin Pittman. Jackie is a native of Murfreesboro and a member of the well-known Ruffin family who owned the historic Ruffin Brothers Market in East Murfreesboro. She matriculated from Hampton University with a bachelor's degree in theater arts and speech communications and a minor in marketing. She then graduated from North Carolina Central University and received a master's in library and information science. She has a certification from Chowan University in elementary education, and she's a teacher who has taught K through 12. Ms. Ruffin Pittman is active in her community. She's the vice president for the Halifax County Underground Railroad Board and has served as vice president for the Halifax Democratic Women. She's a multi-talented singer, musician, historic interpreter, and she's also the author of Ruffin Brothers, a historical novel based upon her own family's history. Please welcome Jacqueline Ruffin Pittman.
I'm going to read a poem that was written by Rita Ellis. She shared this poem on Facebook, and I got so excited, I asked Al, could I read this poem? Hannah Crafts. She wrote a novel while hiding from slavery in the shadows of America. Her name was Hannah Bond, also known as Hannah Crafts. For years, history barely remembered her. Her book, The Bondswoman's Narrative, often called A Bondswoman's Tale. It wasn't supposed to exist. An enslaved woman, educated, observant, brilliant, writing fiction in a world that denied her humanity. She didn't just escape bondage, she escaped silence. This changes everything because her story proves something powerful. Black intellectual life didn't begin when freedom was granted. It existed inside oppression. Quiet, brilliant, defiant. Hannah Bond read widely. She understood politics, gender, class, and power. She used literature as camouflage, as survival, as truth-telling. Writing was her resistance. Self-authorship meant claiming an I in a system designed to erase it. Every sentence said, I see, I think, I matter. And here's the deeper truth. Her novel forces us to ask, how many stories were never found? How many manuscripts were burned, buried, or stolen? How many Black women thought deeply, wrote bravely, and were erased anyway? Hannah Bond reminds us literature has secrets. Archives have gaps. History has been edited, but some voices survive against all odds. And when they do, they don't whisper. They rewrite the story. Remember her name. Share her legacy. Question what you were never taught. Because hidden narratives aren't rare. They were just never meant to be seen. Thank you. We're having a Black History program at First Baptist, Reverend Richardson's First Baptist in Murfreesboro, February 15th at 1 o'clock. I will be sharing stories from Ruffin Brothers. In other words, I will take the characters and some of the stories and I will bring them to life for you. You are welcome to come. It is free. And we are also serving food after the event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Greg Hekimovich is the author of The Life and Times of Hannah Crafts, winner of the Los Angeles Times Book Award and the American Book Award and the Phi Beta Kappa Christian Gauss Award. Named one of the 10 best books of 2023 by the Washington Post, The Life and Times of Hannah Crafts was also a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award, the Penn Jacqueline Bogard Weld Award, and honorable mention for the Modern Language Association's William Saunders Scarborough Prize. He is a 2025 Cullman Fellow at the New York Public Library and a 2025 Guggenheim Fellow recipient. His work has been supported by the Hutchins Center at Harvard University, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and the National Humanities Center. He's a graduate of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. He obtained his master's and PhD from Vanderbilt University. I'm very proud to introduce Dr. Greg Hekimovich.
Thank you so much, Al. And I wasn't aware of that poem. That was so beautiful and powerful and so well done. It segues with what I will share just briefly about Hannah Crafts. I worked on that book for a really, really long time. And when you work on a book, it's not an author that's writing the book. The author is just a vehicle all that time for the community, for the other writers, for Henry Louis Gates Jr., for the librarian who preserved this book, got this manuscript from a white book dealer. That white book dealer had sent out a book scout into New Jersey who got it from Hannah Craft's stepson. There's this long chain that leads and doesn't end. It doesn't end with one book that does as much as it can. It continues with a poem. It continues with Jackie. It continues with the people in this room who all come together. And that voice is the voice that the author ends up using to create art. And in a time when things can seem very dark and hostile and cruel, and our political moment can seem very overwhelming, we just can't forget the power of art and what it provides. And the whole time, all those years I worked on the shoulders and with all these people, I realized I was leading to one sentence that doesn't appear until late into the book when I finally felt like I really understood Hannah Crafts. And what really made me understand her was her desire to make art and why you would do that. And so I wrote this bit. Crafts wrote her novel for the same reason many people write novels and read them too. She yearned to transcend her world by living intimately within a story she could help form. And in many significant ways, the reimagined journey to freedom she portrayed in the bondwoman's narrative helped her realize the life she came to possess. She had to imagine a better world. She had to use the art of humor to flip the script on her enslavers. She writes this amazing scene. She has been forced to go to blackface minstrels where the white people cork their face and make fun of enslaved people. She's forced to watch those for her enslavers. And when she steals paper from her enslaver, she writes a scene that flips it. And then Mrs. Wheeler, Hannah helps her put on whitening powder, and it turns Mrs. Wheeler's face black. And she writes this amazing scene. This did not happen in history. This happened in an artist's mind. An artist's mind who created an art that borrowed from white writers and black authors. Art can find a way to capture a truth. And for Hannah herself, I didn't realize this till I uncovered the rest of her life, but she came to possess what she was imagining in the freedom that she granted her protagonist. So the Thomas Bond Jr. who forced sex on Hannah, the author, gave way to a different Thomas, this time a man who proved worthy as a husband, that was her later husband, who recognized and valued Craft's personhood. The infant she lost in slavery came back in the form of a stepson, Samuel, whose education and care sheet seemed to have died from the age when he was 8. The same age she lost her mother when her mother was forced to move to another plantation. So the power of her words is what an artist does. They envision a better world. In a world right now, if I pick up a newspaper, I see a lot of hate. I see a lot of murder. I see things I can't believe are actually happening in my life. I thought they were lost and put away in the past. But art can point us to believe and see and have faith in ourselves. And Hannah Crafts, you know this if you read her novel, was a woman of great, great faith. The last thing I'm going to share is Hannah's own words. She writes this in the Bondwoman's Narrative, and this is what she realized in her own life. This is a woman who lost her mother, who was seeking her mother her whole life, and she also lost a son. She wrote this in her novel. It had been her incessant prayer by day and by night for many long years that her child left in slavery might be given to freedom and her arms. She had no means of bringing about this great desire of her heart, but trusted all to the power and mercy of heaven. So strong was her faith that whenever she beheld a stranger, she half expected to behold her child. In a way, this is exactly what happened in her life. Her stepson came into her life, and the faith she had in God was a faith that she carried in goodness in her heart. And if she saw a stranger, she didn't think you're an other, you're somebody who should be expelled, sent away from my community. She saw in a stranger always her own self, her own son, her missing son. And I just find her work to inspire me, particularly the darker things get sometimes in the contemporary America. We have the answers, and the artists are showing us the way, and they always have. And the art of the African American history is one of the most powerful parts that American history has. And it has the answers to any of the problems we're having right now. Thank you very much.
Before we end our program today, I want to let you know that there are amazing opportunities right here in Murfreesboro to join our host organizations and really make a difference in this community. Most of you know I live in Raleigh, but I was born and raised here in Murfreesboro. My roots are here, just like Jimmy Moore, like Caroline Stevenson, Yamal Vaughn, Berna Stevens, Brandon Vaughn, Jacqueline Ruffin-Pitt, and my brother Mark. I feel called back to Murfreesboro to give back to the community that gave me so much. On a personal note, I want to dedicate all the work I've done on the Hannah Crafts marker and today's ceremony to a woman who was very influential in my life, Millie Ophelia Faison Powell, who would have been 104 years old today. You do not need to be a paying member to be a volunteer or to be affiliated with the Murfreesboro Historical Association. We have many events coming up, like our 4th grade school tours. our yard sale, the watermelon festival, our candlelight Christmas, and where we need friendly faces to greet guests. I promise you'll make new friends and enjoy the interaction you have with people. And if you want to be on our volunteer list, just let Danny know right there. Danny, wave your hand if you would. He'll also be selling books, and we do have copies of The Life and Times of Hannah Crafts if you'd like to buy one, and Dr. Heckemovich will be glad to autograph it for you. Finally, I want to thank the Hereford County African American History Coalition, the Murfreesboro Historical Association, and the Historic Murfreesboro Commission for co-sponsoring this event. Book sales are also available from the Cultivator in the back, and also Jacqueline Ruffin Pittman has her copy of the Ruffin Brothers book available. Now we're going to end our program with a song. I'm a singer, and as a singer, I believe that music and song can serve as a prayer. It can inspire and motivate and move the soul, and it can connect us to each other and to God. A Change Is Gonna Come is a song written by American singer-songwriter Sam Cooke. It initially appeared on his album, Ain't That Good News, released in mid-February 1964 by RCA Victor. The song was inspired by events in his own life, most prominently while he and his entourage were turned away from a whites-only motel in Louisiana. Cooke felt compelled to write a song that spoke to his struggle and to those around him. And that pertained to the civil rights movement and to African Americans in the country. Although it was only a modest hit for him in comparison with his other singles, it's widely considered one of his greatest and most influential compositions, and has been voted among the greatest songs ever recorded by various publications. In 2007, the song was selected for preservation by the Library of Congress by the National Recording Registry, having been deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. In 2021, Rolling Stone magazine placed it at number 3 on its list of 500 greatest songs of all time. That's pretty good. And in 2025, Rolling Stone also placed it at number 1 on its list of the 100 best protest songs of all time. Please welcome back Brandon Vaughn to sing A Change Is Gonna Come. Sorry about that. Sorry to go some more.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Whoa, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Said I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keeps telling me, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But it winds up knocking on me, back down on my knees. Whoa, there's been times that I thought I couldn't last for long. it's been a long time coming, but I know how change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank everybody. Thank you all for coming. Make sure you get refreshments and. Oh, yes, please.
I'm loving what I'm seeing here today. Mainly because I always hear about Murfreesboro don't like a Hoskin folks. Hoskin folks don't like Murfreesboro folks. Then the black folks in the county don't want to get along with the white folks in the county, and the white folks in the county don't want to get along with the black folks. But today, we are starting to put that narrative to an end and bring about change for this county. And I appreciate all of you.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody.